Hello, and welcome to Coffee on Korriban, specifically Mustaches on Mustafar, because my two guests today also have mustaches. One of them, that was a little hint with the mug that I'm drinking from today. There's been so much negativity, and not even valid negativity. I don't know, just maybe this show hit the people the wrong way, but the Book of Boba Fett did not land for a lot of people. And there have been so many streams about how bad of a show it was and how people didn't agree with it and didn't like it. And I don't like that. I want to be positive. I want to enjoy the things that the show gave us that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And we'll get into 5 things that I wrote down that the Book of Boba Fett gave us. So stick around, like or dislike if you want to. Comment if you'd like to. If you're new here, subscribe. I would encourage you to do so. You don't have to, but I greatly appreciate it. And let's get into it. Again, nice. Welcome back to the show, and it's nice to have you guys on. Matt Cave, you're one of my great internet friends, hence I'm drinking your mug. And T-Money, this is the first time I've had you on here, so welcome to Mustafar.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on Mustafar. And
you are very welcome.
We'll be talking about Boba Fett, which yes. I'm very excited on. I have
in a positive light, which is very rare. I don't see that. I see people kind of tending towards like a more balanced discussion about the Book of Boba Fett over to really criticizing the show. And I've steered away from those videos because entertainment or not, I don't want to be dragged down. And X-Wing made a point on one of his streams a few Boomer Councils ago. What you watch determines how you feel about a certain thing in regards to these episodes that were coming out from Book of Boba Fett. I noticed that after episode or chapter 3 with the Go-Go Power Rangers Vespa gang, I started getting really depressed just because that was the mood that a lot of people had.
Yeah.
But even after the finale, I didn't watch a whole lot of reactions, a whole lot of videos, except if they were from channels that I knew, like Kyle Katarn, like I knew would pick out the positives out of each episode. And so I'm really just kind of wanting to stay away from that negativity. And I wanted this as kind of the final word on this first season of the Book of Boba Fett to be very positive. So we're going to keep to that. As I said in the intro, I got my top 5 things that the Book of Boba Fett gave us that I'm really thankful for. In a positive note, how did you guys feel about the show in general? Did it deliver for you in that positive aspect?
I think it gave me more than I really was expecting at all, which I think is why I enjoyed it so much. Because it was a show that I didn't think we would ever get. And it
Right.
was a resolution to a character that I never thought we would get. And I grew up with the original trilogy. So it was, it was just kind of fun. It was a fun ride. Hawks, Holocrons, what's up? Commander in the Um, yeah, I don't know. I just saw the show as a fun ride.
Right.
There were certainly things to critique and go a little deeper on, but at the end of the day, I didn't come out of any of the episodes going, you know.
Right. And that actually leads me to my first thing that I wanted to bring up. My number 5 thing that I'm thankful for that this show gave me. Boba Fett. I mean, we got him back. We never had him back officially until now. And whether you think that this is the Boba Fett that we needed or that should have been given to us, we got Boba Fett. And even if it was in the last part of the last episode, I mean, he was doing his thing. I personally like the character growth that he had, even with the Tuskens and everything. But that is just so cool that we got that. And I also think that might be something that really hit people the wrong way, is they were expecting a version of Boba Fett that we didn't get. They had this preconceived notion of Boba Fett in their mind from the little bits and pieces we got from maybe comics or books or the little tiny few scenes. I think it's like 6 lines of dialogue or something, 4 lines of dialogue in the original trilogy. And people were expecting that, or they were expecting like Mandalorian, but with Boba Fett armor. And that's not what we got. But I'm happy we got Boba Fett. I don't know. What do you think, T Money?
Yeah. So it's funny. Boba Fett has always been one of my top Star Wars characters alongside Darth Vader and R2. Boba Fett has always been up there. And I specifically remember my uncle, when I was young, got me an omnibus of a bunch of Boba Fett comics, and I just fell in love with the character. And once we had the Disney acquisition, Disney was very, very light on Boba Fett content. We had them sprinkled in a couple of comics, but nothing in the sequels, nothing in Rebels, nothing in like anything else. And he didn't even have his own comic book series, which like he had tons of back, in the Legends days. And that really left me like for years just being like, where is my Boba Fett content? Like I've been like, I want to see him escape the Sarlacc pit in canon. I want to, see him like just in something. And they did Solo, and I'm like, oh, he has to be in Han Solo because like their interactions, and he didn't show up. I'm like, where is Boba? Like for like Disney acquisition in 2013, and then it wasn't until 2020 when I watched that first Mandalorian season 2 episode where we first saw Cobb Vanth, and I saw him with the Boba arm. I'm like, they're going back to Aftermath. They're actually doing this story. This is great. And I'm like, please. It's like, how could the armor survive? But like, where is Boba? Like, you can't have his armor come out
without Boba still be alive officially,
literally.
Right?
So I'm like, I was watching the episode. I was like, really in love with it, and I'm like, yeah. But like in the back of my head, I'm like, where is Boba? Where is Boba? And then we got that final scene where he's just looking out at Mando, turns around, we see the face of Tamara Morrison himself back after he's in 2002 and 18 years. That's crazy. And I was so psyched. And then after I'm like, we finally get Boba. And after like the next episode he wasn't there, I'm like, where is Boba? Like, are they just not gonna like, what's going on? But then we got the tragedy, which is like, I know people have some issues with like the like location and stuff, but that is honestly one of my favorite episodes in Mando and like all of Star Wars as well. Just seeing the return of Boba as well as Fennec, who I love Ming-Na Wen as an actress, I remember Mando season 1, the episode she was in was honestly one of my least favorite, just because they killed her off, and I'm like, you just wasted such a great actress. But they brought her back, and
Mm-hmm.
we saw Boba and Fennec team up, and then that was just such a cool episode, seeing him back in the armor as well, and then like I remember because I was watching it, and he was questioning if he was a Mandalorian, and then right at the end when he's like, I want to show you something, and he basically shows like, hey, all the people who grew up with Legends, where
Right.
Jango was adopted by Jaster Muriel. Hey, it's canon now. It's
Right.
canon. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah,
let's
that was
go.
the coolest thing, and I really wish that I knew how to translate Arabesh. I'm going to learn. I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
But when I see people like Kyle Katarn who can just translate it like that in their head, and they see something flash on screen and they're like, oh, that's so cool, it said that. Like I really want to get to that place. And real quick before we progress any further, my dude Matt Cave, you're what, 23 subs away from 300?
Oh.
We're climbing, man.
You're
climbing.
real close. So I'm gonna put your channel link in the description, or in the comments right here in the chat.
Thank you.
And if anyone watching right now has not subscribed to the Matt Cave, and you even like video games a little bit, please give him your subscription, because it costs you nothing, but to someone else it means a whole lot. So I just put his channel in the chat. If you have not subbed to Matt Cave, please do.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we have fun over here.
And
playing all the games. Hey, sometimes we play Boba Fett games.
Jim Morrison. I love that.
Yo, dude, Tamara Morrison coming back and playing Boba, because I fell in love with that actor in Attack of the Clones. I was like, Jango Fett is one of the coolest characters I've ever seen, and to the idea, that seed being planted at that point of saying we could see him be Boba down the road,
and Cody and Rex and whoever else.
Literally.
I mean, he dubbed over Boba for another special edition of the OT.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm fine with that. That's great. Well, it brings things
such
together.
A great voice.
And then probably my favorite Tamara Morrison Star Wars appearance is the game Republic Commando.
Yes, that's a great one.
And I was just my wife and I the other night, we've been playing Lego Star Wars, the video game, the original Lego Star Wars on the PS2. I love it. I love it. We've been practicing a speed run so we can have a stream and try to speed run it together.
Nice.
But we just every scene with Jango Fett, I was just speaking the lines. Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi. Like it's so iconic, and him playing the role of the perfect host is so cool for him as an actor and for him as a character. It fits so well. So I'm stoked we got him back for Book of Boba Fett, whether or not other people liked it or not. I'm just really happy about it. Before we get on to point number 4 that the Book of Boba Fett gave us, I have an unboxing to do.
Oh, let's do it.
So in this box, I spent too much money on, according to my wife. She's absolutely right. But it has the name Kenner on it. I didn't know I wanted it until I saw it listed online. And I went ahead and bought it. So I'm going to go unbox it. You guys talk about something real quick.
Okay. Another great game with Tamara's Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I remember playing that on the PS2. And like that one like really fleshed out like Jango's character. And I really love that one.
That game, I was actually diving back into it recently. Actually, I should probably do some streams of that game. But the toughest part of that game are the controls.
Yeah.
It takes a bit to get used to, but once you get that feel, you feel like Jango Fett. Like you're like, I'm in full control here. This, especially once you get the jetpack and everything, and it's just oh boy, he's got
awesome.
it open.
Okay, got it open.
Do.
It was like hot glued around the outside, so it took a little while.
Oh.
All right, let's see. How do I change this? There we go.
There you go.
All right, open this bag. Watch, you just sent me like a piece of cardboard.
That's what Kenner did back in the day.
It looks like Kenner.
Is that what I think it is?
That looks like Kenner. Let's flip it around. It is Hoth Snow.
What?
It is Hoth Snow. So this guy was selling it. It was like $12 or something. It's like legit Kenner. It looks incredible. I'm telling you, just looking at it right now, it looks perfect. I've never had anything Kenner, but just from pictures, it looks spot on. But that right there is Hoth Snow.
Dude.
What do you think right there?
Yes.
You know X-Wing's going to go and buy something, right? You just cost him money.
Let's go.
X-Wing, I'll send you the guy who did it on Facebook. And then you can go get yourself some genuine Hoth Snow.
That is brilliant.
I love it. I know I heard how much I spent on it, which wasn't a lot. And then heard that it was snow. And she's like, does it come with the certificate of authenticity? I'm like, no. This wasn't set used snow. This is just like styrofoam or something.
You're out in like Antarctica.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not real snow. But anyway, I like it.
You know what I thought you were unboxing right there? What I thought you had was the Save Your Place thing that Kenner sent when the figures weren't actually in stock. I was like, wow, that's insane. And
Just
you're
a
like,
piece of cardboard.
it's snow.
Yeah.
Which I think is even better.
Yeah, I'll send you the guy.
Yeah,
I'll send you the guy. But it looks like, I mean, I've never held any legit like original Kenner stuff in my hand before, but it looks legit.
Yeah, that looks.
I mean, it looks
really
great.
Nice. That's got the classic look.
And for like $12 plus shipping, I thought that was super cool. So
nice.
Could have been gas in the tank, but Hoth Snow. Yeah. It's so funny.
You know, I can tell you right now, I guarantee my wife just felt a tremor in the force.
Like, one set that I really want.
Something.
one piece that I really want that is also not original actual Kenner is the charred remains of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yep.
Like, it's like a toasty looking skeleton.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's so good. That's my next purchase. But the guy that was selling it was like asking for like $80. That's a lot.
Ooh.
That's a lot for a joke. 30 sounds good, but
yeah.
I don't know if I'd spend that much for live Owen and Baru.
Dude, how about this? I'm gonna commission the guy that made it to make me Tatooine sand and like Mustafar lava.
Yes.
I really want it now.
That'd be so cool.
All right, see you, dude.
See you, Strike. Take care.
Yeah, water from
great.
Camino. This is amazing. And he's subscribed to my channel, the guy that made the thing.
Nice.
I told him I was going to do the unboxing, so that's really funny. All right, let's continue on with number 4 thing that I'm grateful for that the Book of Boba Fett gave us. The N1 Starfighter and the pod racing circuit.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
That moment was so perfect, and the angles, the camera angles, were the same shots from episode 1.
Master Paul, before you pop on, you care to shoot down some commies?
Yeah.
Oh.
Need some.
All right.
Some moderator
It's
action.
the same one that goes after mine.
That's how you know you've made it as a YouTuber.
Yes. Once the droids attack.
Attack of the droids.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, N1 in the pod racing circuit. First off,
yes.
N1 is one of my favorite ships in all of Star Wars. I love it because episode 1 is the most nostalgic for me of all the movies. Of everything Star Wars, Phantom Menace is most nostalgic for me. But hey, we got a buddy.
What's up? Hey.
But just not just the N1, but in the pod racing circuit, which was also one of the most nostalgic things of episode 1 for me, the pod racing scene. Just anytime my dad wanted to test out his surround sound, which was a good system, he put on the pod racing scene, and it's just it's perfect. And that was just such a highlight for me of the Book of Boba Fett. What do you think, Paul?
I don't think he heard you.
What's up?
No. I was can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I was asking, what do you think about the N1 following the Boonta Eve Classic little course?
Okay, so that one scene where he flies the ship up the ramp, I was saying to myself, Skywalker's been forced onto the surface ramp. So yeah, I liked it.
It was
well,
such a feel good moment for me.
It was. I don't know if they would have done it in this show, giving what they showed of the Sand People in the first 3 episodes, but if they had people, if they had like the Sand People shooting at the N1 fighter as it's going around the Canyon Dune turn, that would have been the cherry on top for me.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or we just see the announcer guys like randomly show up and they'd be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
How terrible would it be though if he came like around the corner and the Tuskens were shooting at him, like after we saw the Tuskens character progression in the early part of the season.
Oh man. Yeah, they hit the right nostalgic beats throughout this series, and especially that moment. I mean, we get things with Boba, obviously, with things we wanted to see, like escaping the Sarlacc and stuff like that. But these moments that tie it all together and it makes the saga feel even more complete.
Yes,
it's little things like that. I mean, some people complain about a high level of fan service. I don't. I enjoy that fan service. I'm like, it's called fan service for a reason, because it's
it's the right kind of fan service.
Yes,
fan service by itself is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a really powerful tool, especially for a franchise like this that has spanned so many generations. That's probably the most important and powerful tool at their disposal. But it has to be the right kind of fan service. There was a lot of improper fan service in the sequel trilogy. Where, as I mean, we've all talked about member berries before. Like it's a callback that isn't necessary, but if it's driven by the story and it's required by the plot, then absolutely. Cobb Vanth flying one of Anakin's pod racer things in The Mandalorian. That's fan service, but of course they would reuse a pod racing engine. It's an engine. Like, why wouldn't they reuse that? It's required by the story. Cad Bane showing up to be the one to take care of Cobb Vanth is fan service, but it's required by the story because, of course, he would be working for the Pikes. They have money. They want someone who's good at what they do, and they know Cobb Vanth is kind of like the sheriff of the town. So, of course, they'd send Cobb Vanth as opposed to someone else. So, if the story requires it and it fits in the plot correctly, fan service is fine, and that's what makes us appreciate it and give us, as T. Davins had said, those 20 out of 10 types of moments that are way more than this was a perfect episode or this was a perfect scene. It's more than that. You can't really describe it accurately other than saying 20 out of 10. Like, it checked all the boxes and all the feels just the right way. So fan service isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think I heard a wampa.
I think it was a wampa.
That, my lad, is a dragon.
Nice.
Yes.
There's fan service and useless cameos. I got good fan service from the show. Yeah, and even cameos like Cad Bane showing up, I don't think I would consider a cameo. It's just the character that showed up. The 2 guys that Luke encounters in the bar in A New Hope that show up in Rogue One, that's a cameo.
That's a cameo. Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
I think I had
And
the
that
wrong
itself-
microphone on.
Yeah, no. I mean, stuff like that. That in itself is a good version of fan service.
Mm-hmm.
And, no, Spider-Man, that wasn't me. But I like little things like that because you know what? General audiences had no idea who those two people were. But us being like sweaties into this stuff are like, that's Luke's friends from the deleted scenes from A New Hope. And like we all geek out about it because
Right.
that's why they put that there. That was for
But
us.
but it makes sense that their characters, Cammy and Fixer, are still on Tatooine. Where else
Yep.
would they go?
Yeah.
Like, of course they're there at Tashi
Mhm.
Station hanging out. What else would they be
Mhm.
doing? That's like if someone grew up in a small town with only 1,000 people, you go into a bar, you're going to see your buddies from high school probably.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge, I think this is the first time I've seen you around here. So if you're new, thank you very much for stopping by. He says Boba Fett had a lot more fans before the show. I agree. His character was better defined. The writing is atrocious. I don't know. I think they went with a different direction than most people were expecting. I wouldn't say atrocious. I'd say there were some pretty egregious moments of the show. Vespa Gang being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Robo Eye doing his little spin trick was another one. There's a lot of moments that I would feel were atrocious, but the writing of the show as a whole, I felt was just different than what people were expecting. And in the first two episodes, it just hit people the wrong way. So I get why people are feeling that way, but for me personally, I feel like they just weren't prepared for what the show was going to give them. The show was set up different than what we got. It was in the trailers, we were essentially promised a different show than what we got. And then the over deliver, you can't over promise because it'll over deliver. It mind-blowing cameos, like all the talk beforehand definitely didn't help. But the show itself, taking it for what it is, I loved it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think definitely, watching the show, they're going in. I have all these expectations, and while there were like things that I wanted, like Bosk and Dengar and other bounty hunters to show up, this show did deliver us moments that I would have never guessed.
I
Just
did
like you
not.
said,
I did
Bill.
not say too positive, Hawk. My net has just been acting really strange lately when it comes to streams.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. No one can accuse me of being a Disney shill. I grew up in Disneyland. And by that, I mean going twice a week for the majority of my childhood to Disneyland. If anyone would be a Disney shill, it would be me. I do not like the company Disney, but I'll say this publicly, Disney, if you want to pay me and allow me to make my rent payments, I'll say good things about your shows.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I think out of the four of us, I have probably been the most. But I'm here because there's that I liked about it, and the N4 ship going through the pod racer track was one of them.
Right.
Yeah, these were moments that I felt like when you do a series based in this world. The seismic charge in the pit was
Which I
huge
called.
win.
That
Which I
was
called.
Yep.
Dude, that was one of the coolest parts. But here's the thing, I think what people why it didn't land right for them, but why it landed right for me is that this wasn't the Boba from the comics we had back in the day.
Yep.
This is the Boba we watched develop from Attack of the Clones into Clone Wars, into Rebels, into everything that happened from there. We watched the character growth of Boba, and he went through many different things. This is that version of Boba Fett that we got. And that's why it felt right to me, because I've been watching that version for the past decade.
Right. And it makes sense. It's not like it's out of line for something his character would do. He never we got his dad flying off in the Slave One from Camino. His dad was never around. All the other clones were the exact same copy as him, but they aged twice as fast, and they got to go fight in the war while he was stuck being a little kid. And they all made fun of him, didn't they? Didn't
Pretty
they
much.
like treat
I
him
don't know.
poorly?
Did they treat him
Yeah.
differently? I
Well,
think actually
I don't know.
I know
That's what
I
I
know
heard.
that he felt, different from all the rest, because all of them are like, aging twice as fast, and like he feels like, Django's like he's the only son.
Hmm.
So he's very protective, and then when he lost that, that's like when
Right.
it's like he doesn't even have a mother. That's the thing. He's literally only has a father.
And Aura Thing was never a mother.
Oh yeah.
No.
That was, she was such a bad influence, and you can tell like in the Clone Wars, especially like how she would like force him to do things that he didn't want. Like she would try to get him to kill innocent people that he's like, no, I only want to, have justice like for my father to kill Mace Windu.
Right.
I don't want these other people to get hurt. They don't deserve it, and that's why I could appreciate, Boba at this point. It's just his character, his background. He's never, he has been ruthless, but he still has an honor. He still has a code that he goes by, and him being with the Tuscans, that just really opened up him even further. So
Yeah, he'd never had a family before.
yeah, exactly.
And that sense of belonging has got to change you, especially after a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Almost a certain death experience. You fall into a Sarlacc, you are not getting out unless you're Boba Fett.
Yep.
And Jorge says this isn't any Boba. His motivations make no sense. He came out of the Sarlacc a good guy. He didn't change over time. I wouldn't say good guy necessarily. He's just a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that Boba went through that traumatic experience and then felt a sense of belonging. He felt part of that Tuscan tribe. They were welcoming. They were, I'm sure, in a way, loving, accepting. He felt important. He felt part of a bigger unit than just himself. He wasn't constantly doing dirty jobs for other people that would get rich off of him and the possibility of his death. Like, and he was with them supposedly almost 5 years, or more.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being like a hitman. You've never experienced anything like a family except for when you were a little kid and that got ripped away from you. You finally get to be part of a tribe for 5 years and they get slaughtered. What do? I have to set up a new family. I have to set up a new family. What do I do? We have to take out these guys that killed my family and set up my own family. I don't want to rule with fear. I want to rule with respect. I want to set up my new tribe. And I'm hoping they take that motivation in Mandalorian season 3 and apply that to Mandalore. Would really love to see that being applied that way.
Yes, I'm very much hoping that Boba is going to be a big part of season 3, and then I do really actually hope we get a season 2 to this show, because I feel like obviously some people wanted more in this series, but I think the way we've been able to wrap this up, we can now go even further in a season 2.
And I think that I understand when people say that his motivation wasn't clear. I actually thought it was crystal clear, because they do talk about it and there's a basis behind it, but it does go quickly. They had a short period of time to do all of this, right? His motivation in changing was that he was tired of risking his life for people who for a job, for people that he feels that he could have run the job better, right? He was there on the sail barge as a job. This was a paycheck, right? And he came to his closest to death he ever had been, going into the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc pit. This dude's was eaten. And this was for a paycheck from Jabba, who he felt wasn't running things well to begin with. So that was the last straw for him. That was him saying, why do we keep going down this path? Let's run things differently. Let's do things better so that we don't have to die a needless death. But that all passes in like a quick, less than a minute scene.
Hawks, my allegiance is to
real
canon,
quick,
to democracy.
Tim,
Mhm.
Before we go on, unfortunately, I am going to have to split because even though my internet blipped out again, you guys are still kind of touch and go on my end. So before I crash again, I'm just going to go ahead and bow out. But before I go, I will go ahead and say my piece on this. Like I said before, I think of the four of us on this panel, I'm probably the most negative on this show, but I do not think that this show is a total failure. I've said it before. There is absolutely things in this show to enjoy. I'll just list a couple real quick. The introduction of Cad Bane, seeing pretty much anything involving Mando and Luke and Grogu. That was amazing. Even if the choice that Grogu made didn't turn out how I wanted, just the fact that we got Luke, I was happy in that moment. And yeah, it was kind of messy, I think, but even still, the final fight, especially when Boba comes in charging on the Rancor, was indeed really cool. So that's just my thoughts in a nutshell as far as the positive aspects of the Book of Boba Fett. And also,
Well,
real quick before I go, I'm sorry for. Go ahead. I was about to say, I'm sorry for canceling Animation Friday. I thought my sister was going to show up, but she ended up having to cancel for a flat tire.
Ooh, that's no good.
Oh, man. Well, I was going to say real quick before you go, a lot of people are debating whether the show was a good show or a bad show, or whether they wrote it well, or whether the action was good enough, or the character of Boba, all that stuff. What I think people would not be able to debate is it was fun.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if it wasn't fun, you would have quit after the first two episodes, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be some level of enjoyment that people found. And if it was fun, great. And enjoy it for what it was. And if you're still negative after that point, then just don't rewatch it. Just wait for Kenobi and then hope that satisfies what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everyone enjoyed it to a certain extent.
That is pretty much where I am. I'm just waiting for Kenobi at this point. And I think ultimately why I didn't enjoy this show as much as you guys have is because I was expecting the all killer, no filler that Robert Rodriguez promised, and I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I was after the first episode. After the second episode, I knew it was a different tone of a show, and I was kind of just open to whatever it was going to give me. So, there's that. Thanks for stopping by, Paul. Always a pleasure to have you on.
No problem. One last thing before I go. You guys showed off a new figure that you got, Coffee. Here's a new figure I got.
Oh, that's cool. And it's real.
Yep.
It's not just styrofoam.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
All right. Well, I will see you guys later, okay?
All right. See you.
Take care.
See, that's what I'm still looking to do. I want to watch the whole thing again as one. Because
I do
feel like
as
it's
well.
gonna play out better.
Yeah, I think so
I do
too.
as well.
Yeah.
Well, it allowed time for us to pick it apart, and for most people to dwell on the negatives. And I think it really hindered their appreciation, or their being willing to appreciate the next week's episode, is because they had the time to let it process.
Yep.
But watching them back to back, I mean, you're going from Luke and Ahsoka to the introduction of Cad Bane straight to the finale with the Luke and Boba, or the Boba and Cad Bane showdown, and the riding the Rancor, like it all smashed together. Yeah. I'm sure you would see it differently. And I have a theory. I have a theory that with the all killer, no filler, gonna melt your minds. I can't overpromise because it'll over deliver. I'm pretty sure after they were starting to wrap up post-production, he watched kind of like a pre-treatment of the final 3 episodes. And this is Robert Rodriguez specifically. He watched the pre-screening of the final 3 episodes when they were mostly done, and was just like, this is going to blow their minds. This is all killer, no fit. Like, of course he's going to try to hype it up, but I feel like after watching those last 3 episodes, you probably would feel that way. And so that makes sense to me. Still not a good decision for him to go say that. And real
Mhm.
quick before I continue, Polly, you want to come on my channel? I would love to have you. I think I invited you before, but I never followed up on it. But I'd love to have you. I'm a quarter Latinx, so
Oh, wow.
that counts for something.
There you go.
But yeah, it's nice to talk with other people that are positive about the show. I've been talking a little bit behind the scenes with Kyle Katarn,
Mhm.
and the show had its issues, but overall, when you're more focused on the things that it gave you, like the whole point of the
Yeah.
stream, it's
Yeah.
much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to my point earlier, I didn't finish, but like I think a lot of us have expectations, but I look back at like what this series did deliver, and the fact is that I never would have expected I would have never expected to see so many things happening, like live action, him escaping the Starlight, him dropping a seismic charge down there, flashbacks to him as a kid, like, and then the stuff with Mando was awesome. And when Starfighter through the pod racing track, and him on a Rancor, like that's stuff I had only seen in a video game, but we saw it in live action. Like like there's so much that like even if I could have said, oh, but what if this happened? I can just sit back and think, what did we get? Okay, we got this. That is awesome. And I just look back at the series and I'm like, I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It was
And
fun.
Tamara Morrison, like seriously, I can't praise him enough. Like, what a great actor. And I'm just so happy that he was able to come back after so many years. Like, I'm so happy for him.
I do think his the scenes where he was just kind of sitting around and talking in some of especially the final episode where they were kind of planning the final battle, I do think they could have utilized him as an actor more.
Yeah.
And there's, like I said, legitimate criticisms all the way around. But we're staying positive. So number 3 thing that I'm really thankful for that the show gave us, Tuscan culture.
Yes.
Tuscan culture. One little detail that I picked up on that I haven't really heard other people talking about even after that second chapter was they were telling him the culture, their history of the Tuscans and going back to, when the planet used to be covered with water. Tuscans do not tell outsiders history unless they are a warrior in the tribe.
Yes.
We got this in KOTOR. Like you had to get the crate, kill the crate dragon, bring the pearl to him to hear the history, because only their top warriors would be worthy of hearing the history. They do not show that to outsiders. So that blew my mind in that they included that detail to prove to us he is in the tribe. And then of course we get the dance at the end of the episode, forging of the Gaffey stick, all that stuff, which is so cool. But those little details like that that they threw in really enriched the culture of the planet of Tatooine and the Tuscans as a people. And I loved it. The world building is the most important thing in all of Star Wars for me, more than the characters or the story or the action or anything. The world building.
Yeah.
And they did it marvelously as in regards to the Tuscans in the show.
Yes, 100%. And like I remember like even in that scene that you're talking about, like they were saying like, oh, some of us survived by I don't remember the exact word, but they're like, some of us are more like violent and stuff, which, beforehand, that's what, the movies have portrayed in episode 4, where he gets attacked by a Tuscan, and in episode 2, where Anakin goes slaughters the Tuscans. But the fact that this show really gave us, the other perspective where, okay, yes, they can be violent, but they can also be caring. And, they really took Boba in and gave him that family, like you were saying. And it's super cool just seeing how all that unfolded.
Yeah, and like Spider-Man says here, we haven't really got much Tuscan culture outside of KOTOR, and then of course in Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mando.
And
I never really thought about diving into Tuscan culture until KOTOR, and when I played through that and got to that section, I was like, man, I I never thought about there being different tribes and all this stuff going on. I was like, now I want to know more. And then we never got any more
Yeah.
until this show.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they keep that intact or maybe even expound upon it in the KOTOR remake. If they don't, that's definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Someone up here, Doge YT, I don't believe I've seen you around here before. So if this is your first time, welcome. Appreciate you stopping by. Here's a sip for you.
There you go.
I know I forgot to do the sips at the beginning of the episode. Cheese is delicious.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Both my daughters would agree with you. Anyway, so yeah, Tuscan culture is just a huge positive for me.
Yeah. And I also, real quick, I was just going to say, I did enjoy how Tamara was able to also, bring in some of his own culture with the Maori, doing the dance, and I could just tell like he was like very happy, just able to bring that to the character of Boba, really making it like something of himself. So
yeah. No, that was a beautiful scene, and he made it a personal thing, which is great. It's always awesome when actors can truly make a character their own and put some of themselves into that.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have Twitter, unfortunately. Only Discord and YouTube. I have a Facebook, but I only use it for Marketplace, and I have like 30 friends. So I'm not very social media-y.
Understandable.
Here, let's do this. Paul, if you want to jump in, there's the link in chat, and I request that no one else watching join right now, because I don't know how else to get him the link if I'm not on Twitter. So Mr. Latino Slant, Mr. Slant, you may join. Anything else on the Tuscan culture that you guys can think of? Any other Tuscan things that they gave us?
The Tuscans, we got teased with seeing their culture more in Mandalorian. And that's where this first really started. It was like, wow, we're going to get more about the Tuscans. And then it kind of just faded off a little bit. But I was like, I hope we come back to that.
Yeah.
And then we did.
Yeah. And I also find it like just an interesting juxtaposition having like in Mando season 2 with Cobb Vanth, how he, didn't trust the Tuscans and, thought that, they were just ruthless killers and, didn't want anything to do with them. And like he's the one who's wearing Boba's armor, and then when Boba loses his armor, like he gets adopted by them, and it's just pretty interesting to see that. And one other small detail that's a little bit off topic, but the Jawas were the ones who looted Boba's armor, but yet they're the ones who saved Cobb Vanth when he was in the desert. And then the Tuscans, like Cobb Vanth has an issue with the Tuscans, but Tuscans are the ones who got Boba. So it's just interesting how like the inverse.
They're very misunderstood groups.
Yep.
Although Tuscans and Jawas, they don't get along.
Yeah, they don't.
They ever will.
Huge beef. Yep. I remember in Battlefront 2, they had the hunt mode, and you chose either Jawa or Tuscan. So. Yep.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We love you, X-Wing.
Wow.
I mean, I'm down. That was an invitation specifically for Mr. Slant, but I mean, you're always welcome here. You know that. Yeah. So the Tuscan culture was huge for me, and again, the world building is the most important part, and we got more of that. We got more Tatooine history as well. Like we knew that it used to be a water planet, and it dried up, and now there's the sands. But it's really cool that they kind of recanonized it, officially canonized it. Like there's so much of that.
And in a live action show where most people are gonna actually see
Right.
that's the thing.
Except for the Boston Dynamics dogs. The only droids I didn't like. But yes, other than that,
I love
absolutely
the
right.
pit droids. They're so much fun.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah.
See, I don't know if you have this on your list because I don't know if you're on the side of liking this character or not. But what was her name? Pelly?
Yeah,
Her and the
Pelly
pit
Mata.
droids? I
Very
love them.
funny.
I thought they were
Very
hilarious. And I was so happy when she came back in this series. I was like, yay. It's like, I don't know what it is that maybe it's because I'm a dad and I just like corny jokes. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was really happy to see her back and the pit droids and everything. And then obviously we got through her, we got the N1 Starfighter, which was just awesome. And then we learned a little more about Jawas than we probably wanted to know.
Yeah, that's very funny. All right, number 2. Luke.
Yes.
Just how can you be upset with that? And I would have put personally Tusken culture above Luke, but I know that was a highlight for so many people. But we got Luke, we got Ahsoka. We didn't get the scene between Luke and Ahsoka that we wanted, but I'm sure we will. I'm sure we're going to get that in the future.
That moment, and there was hardly any dialogue, but it wasn't needed. It was seeing her stand next to Luke, and that had so much power in that visual moment. Like I was like practically brought to tears seeing this. I was like, oh my god! I was like, she's fine. She's actually there with
the part that I didn't catch the first watch, but in watching again and watching other people's reactions, the part that really, really hit me hard when she says, "You're just like your father," or something like that, something along those lines.
She does the classic Ahsoka half smile. She's like
her Rosario Dawson is perfect as Ahsoka. Her mannerisms are spot on. And when she says that, it's not just the line; it's the look that Luke gives. He looks and the look that he gives has Anakin's eyes, and I don't know if they altered that shot specifically, but is the same exact look that Anakin gives multiple times in Revenge of the Sith. The same eyes, and I don't know if they altered the shot, the graphics on that, but it is
tugged on the nostalgia
Anakin.
string.
Yeah, it was great.
In the eyes, and this is a complaint about the CGI for Luke in Mandalorian season 2 is the CGI on the lips and the eyes. The eyes were kind of glazed over, and the lips were a little too stiff. With deepfakes, there's only so much you can do with the lips. Unless you have your actor like enunciating every single thing, that it just is not going to work. It's always going to be stiff. But the eyes, they nailed it this time around, especially on that shot. It really hit me.
Them bringing in Schmook to do the new CGI look to him, it's actually making me wonder, do you think they'll go back and redo Luke in Mando episode 16? I think they should.
Yeah, I think they should.
I mean, what a golden opportunity there. Daryl the Derelict, what's up, dude? It's when the second it panned down, and then you see Grogu, and you're like, all right, well, Luke's got to be here, right? And then you get that shot of Luke just meditating, and he looks like they literally got in a time machine, went back to 1983. It was like, Mark, can you just show up, do a little filming for us today, and then we'll send you back? Like, it was perfect as far as I was concerned. And I was getting all those same feels from when he came through that hallway in Mando, and I'm like, oh my god, it's all coming back. I can't believe it.
And then we're using the same like musical cue as well with the choir. I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is so good.
If I had to live anywhere in the Star Wars universe, it would be Dantooine from KOTOR.
That's an interesting choice.
It's so peaceful. In the music. It's perfect. I felt the same way on this planet, whatever it was with Luke,
Yeah.
just
Where he's
so
building a
peaceful,
temple.
especially with
Yeah.
the Force theme as it pans up over the bamboo
Yeah.
forests.
Mhm.
You know, through the Force, you will find balance as well.
Yep.
And then the music, and it's just that feeling of
Yeah.
home. We've never seen this
Yeah.
planet before, but it felt so familiar because
Yeah.
of the music largely.
Yep.
But there was just something so peaceful and serene about that
Mhm.
planet that I feel the same way about Dantooine when playing KOTOR.
Yeah.
And I don't, that was 20 out of 10 episode. I think we all can
Yeah.
agree
Yeah.
on that.
We got to think like
100%.
just like the music is considered. I think you could probably feel the same. The music it's a character in itself, right?
Yes.
course.
But these
Yep.
worlds are also these planets. These are characters also that
Mhm.
make up how we feel about certain things in the show, right? Or the movies. When you get to Tatooine, you feel a certain way. When you get to Hoth, you feel different.
Yep.
Like it's like not a bad different. It's just like
Mhm.
there's a
Mhm.
different feeling, and you go on this like emotional journey through the whole thing, and the planet itself sets that tone for you. So when you get this place that's so serene and peaceful and everything, like especially that scene you're talking about where he's
Mhm.
up above the tree line and talking to Grogu about all this.
Yep.
It's such a beautiful moment. And actually, speaking of him talking to Grogu, his voice, oh my god, guys, dude, that was Mark Hamill, man. It was like that was
But it wasn't even
beautiful.
him though.
But that I know that's the crazy
Yeah.
thing. It's
It's
like
wild.
it was unbelievable. The first thing he says, he's like Grogu. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
what?
you see in my reaction, some people were jumping up and down and screaming and stuff. I just
Yeah.
like I didn't
Couldn't
know.
believe
I
it.
just wanted to enjoy the moment. You can see it on my face. I was just
Dude, there were
I
moments in your
I don't want
reaction, by
this
the
to
way,
go
I was
away.
cracking up because you're like
My
Talladega Nights in
hands.
it. You're like, I don't know what to do.
It's like I don't know what to do with myself. And that's something I posted a quick review of the final episode. Like a spoiler-free review, and
Mhm.
I think it was the Revolution 2 commented on that. Like, I can't wait for the reaction to come out. Let me see them flappy hands, because he knew I was just I didn't know how to handle myself.
I love it.
But just the whole episode was just. And think this is what makes me grateful for this stuff. If we didn't get the Book of Boba Fett, like people have even been saying, oh, we shouldn't have gotten the show at all. If we didn't get that, we wouldn't have had any of these things. Oh,
Yeah.
there he is. Welcome to the channel, sir.
Oh.
Hey,
Am I on? Can you hear me?
You are
you're
on.
sir.
Well, I just got this link and
Yeah.
had to grab some coffee and hang out with you guys.
Awesome. Well, it's a
There you
pleasure to
go.
have you here.
Pleasure
So-
to be here.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good.
What's up, Matt Cave?
How you doing, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I always love talking Star Wars, you know?
Yeah. And I figured this would be the last Book of Boba Fett stream, and I have less viewers tonight than I usually do, probably just
Oh,
because people are
dude.
tired of Book of Boba Fett. But I wanted to end it on a really positive note.
That's good.
I wanted to have a good feeling carrying me into Kenobi, as
Yeah.
opposed to all the negativity. I've seen so many streams, so many videos, longer video essays, hour-long plus videos in my recommended feed that are
Mhm.
all negative about this show. And
Yeah.
I said at the beginning of the show, those criticisms are probably valid. And I'm not going to tell people how to feel because you can't
Yeah.
change the way people feel. But I am so thankful for what this show gave us. And I like talking to other people that feel the same way. So I guess
Yeah.
how do you feel about the show overall and what we got?
I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. You know, I think besides a couple of missteps, you know, in vision, but not in like there, you know, there's no politics, none of that we're so used to, you know, comparative
Right.
to other entertainment. It was just a couple of creative missteps, right? That
Right.
didn't work for the audience. That being said, I'd say for me, I'm looking at
Mhm.
you know 5 of the 7 being like 8 or above, 5 of the 7
Mhm.
episodes.
Mhm.
One, you know, episode 1, I'd give like a 6 or 7. It still was pretty good. It was just more like, kind of just took you were so emotionally hyped for something else. And then 3 was like, was pretty pretty much little average.
Yeah.
But that being said, I saw the whole thing again because we did our final Boba Fett in review as well, Wednesday with Cameron Pasha and Tom Conkle. So I wanted to make sure I saw the whole show like as one.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was so entertaining. It's just so
Right.
entertaining. That's what you said earlier. It's like, are you entertained or not? Did you have fun?
Right. And if you didn't have fun, you wouldn't have made it through all 7 episodes.
Or if you didn't have fun, that's all right too.
Right.
That's the thing. No one's forcing you to like it.
Yeah.
But obviously, we can't listen to, our, sometimes our community and the way it's bound, sounding off because the numbers show it. People love this show. That's in the numbers.
Yeah.
And again, on the things that we wouldn't have gotten if we didn't get this show, it's the same exact way with the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
People were saying kind of the same thing, like, oh, we didn't really need this show. We could have done without it. But there is so much in the Bad Batch that we got that we wouldn't have had otherwise, with the chain codes and the Empire coming up and switching over to the Phase 1 Stormtrooper armor. Like, there's so much we got.
Commandos and the TK troopers,
exactly, that we wouldn't have had if we didn't
Mount
get the Bad
Tantus,
Batch.
like,
or even look like, was it the final 4 episodes of it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Am I thinking Bad Batch?
I think are you thinking Clone Wars?
You might be thinking Clone Wars. But...
Oh yeah, that was epic.
Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty. I mean, Bad Batch was pretty good. But again,
I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun too.
And exactly. Exactly. And I know what I was going to say. People are going to poke holes at anything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what I did, dude. I went a hardcore. From last week from Wednesday to Wednesday, I watched all the 3 seasons, 2 Mando and Boba Fett all together.
Nice.
Wow.
And I was like, and I knew it because the overall vision of Favreau, it's just there.
Seamless,
everything that Mando was talking about or interacted with, it came back around in Boba.
Yeah,
it was fucking beautiful, man. I was like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry for
hold up. I'm gonna punch him right in the cloak.
I got yeeted.
Is that what's up with curses?
Yeah, I gotta make some more, especially the shot of Obi-Wan going.
Nice.
I gotta make some new ones.
I get excited. My bad.
Well, what, that's the thing about these shows and what Star Wars does for us. We get excited. We want to get just up to that next level when we're talking about this stuff, right? And one of the positives, I don't think it's on your list, Tim, but Paulie reminded me when he came on, is that I got a positive in this show that I've wanted forever since the movie Fanboys. I wanted the legend himself, Danny Trejo, to make an appearance in Star Wars, and it happened. And I was smiling. The smile on my face was just so big.
Yeah.
I wish they did more with them, but even just that little bit, I was like, "Thank you."
Thank you.
It just
See, his appearance actually hit me the wrong way. I wasn't prepared for it. I thought it was cheesy. It didn't hit me the right way on the first watch. Especially when he said Rancor are emotionally complex creatures. I was like, what? And then I realized the handler in Return of the Jedi was crying.
Yeah.
No.
They've got to have
grown men were weeping. 2 of them. 2 of them.
That's
Again,
right.
I just saw that the other night.
Yep, he's taking them away. He's like, oh,
we do.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and so on second watch,
everyone was rocked when Luke killed that Rancor. I mean, everyone was rocked. Jabba was rocked. These grown, nasty looking, hairy Rancor trainers were just in tears.
Well, now we know that there's more to a Rancor
Mhm.
than just eating whatever falls into the pit, and we got a little bit of that in Bad Batch as well with Muchi.
Mhm.
Yep.
In that, like, oh, how is it being so docile now? Like, oh, because you asserted your dominance over it in the case of Wrecker. And it makes sense. The pieces fit. And then again, on
Yeah.
like I said, on rewatches of that episode with Danny Trejo, I was like, oh, this fits perfectly. Oh, he was great for that role. Of course, he would be the trainer.
They
It's
got to bring
perfect.
him back, though. That's,
I hope so.
I would
was
think
like,
so.
The chief, he's here. I was like, oh my God.
But you know, in watching also Mandalorian, you know, everything is going to plan with Favreau. Like, probably except for Gina not being there, and he had to write around that, because I guarantee you she would have been part of that that new tribe that he's created of lovable heroes that we have now. Think about it. We have a whole new group, and I'm actually happy that they didn't bring back anyone, like a Luke or a Han for episode 7. It was all about the Mando family, and so for 5 and 6, what I saw was the universe, the start, this, checking in on everyone that was in Mando that helped Boba, meaning like everyone was either shown or mentioned in those 2 episodes, from Bo-Katan to Moff Gideon, Ahsoka, Luke. I mean, it was awesome. Peli, like it came back around. I mean, and even had Peli try, helping fight, in the last episode. I loved it. I loved it, man. And if you didn't, I get it. I get EU people and OG people, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty old, so I really don't give a shit. I really don't care.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yes, queen.
I really don't. I just want to enjoy. I just want to be entertained.
Right. And I was entertained. I loved it. And there's so much of those little details that really hit me the right way, in addition to having a fun time, that really set it over the edge for me, that this was a great show. And actually, you after chapter 2, I forget who you had on. Do you remember who it was that you had on your stream?
Robert Meyer Burnett?
Yes. And he was talking, you guys were breaking down the character development of Boba Fett and how it was probably different than what people were expecting, but it's quality character development, and I feel that's what we got. Whether those creative decisions were made the correct way and all those little aspects or not, but that video and that stream, watching you guys talk about that, kind of shifted my perspective of, you know what, I'm going to be a little bit more open to this being different than Boba coming in and just killing everyone, because we've seen action before. Action sequences are a dime a dozen.
And at the end of the day, you got Boba killing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
They were taking fools out left and right.
Yeah.
But
episode 2, when he came into that bar, just came swinging like.
He broke the cycler rifle on the guy's head.
That was so funny.
I think Matt was talking about it. Matt K was talking about, or I forgot who was talking about his Morai culture being infused there.
Oh, T Money was saying that. Yeah.
You got to see it right there when he was fighting inside that Tashi station.
Oh, that's
expression and the look on it. I mean, it was beautiful. I was just like,
absolutely.
He didn't say a word, and he took out all those fools, and then he took the bikes, and it was awesome.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Talk to the hand, sister. What is it?
You forgot to say please.
T3.
Was that, which one was it? So, like, remember that guy was dancing? And he's like,
yeah, that was 3.
Talk to the hand, sugar.
All right, Rissman brings us into our last point that I'm thankful for. Number one thing I'm thankful for. He says, too close to call, Bad Batch had Empire destroying Camino, and Book of Boba Fett had them destroying Mandalore. So my number one thing that I'm thankful for is the Mandalore.
Yes.
Very thankful for the Mandalore, for not just what we got and what it brought back into canon, but also what it's setting up for Mandalorian season 3.
Yes.
It's hugely impactful, very important. we got reference to Tar Vizsla. We got more information on the Darksaber and how it works.
Mhm.
There's the theories about the armorer being cast. We know there's other factions of the different Mandalorians, different little groups, different coverts of Death Watch. Even we know there's more out there than just the armorer and Paz Vizsla. And we got so much in there. And my favorite line, I think, in the entire, well, I don't know, there's a lot of great lines in this whole show. One of my favorite lines, I'll just say that, was when the armorer was opening up her little toolbox thing, talking about the history of the Mandalorians and stuff. And she said the line, quote, "Sadly, it only exists in legends."
Mhm.
And I have felt that way about so many characters, so many stories, so many time periods. Mara Jade is cool. Sadly, she only exists in legends. Knights of the Old Republic is amazing. Sadly, it only exists in legends. The character development of Bane, Darth Bane, is amazing, and how he formed the Rule of Two. Sadly, it only exists in legends. And that line really stood out to me, that kind of almost speaking to us, that they're like, we know you guys are upset about the erasure of Star Wars and what a lot of people feel is Star Wars, and and that's gone. We're going to bring as much of that back as we can, which they did, and they're doing so far. I love it. So the Mandalore, the lore that they gave us about the Mandalorians, the stuff they're setting up, and the hope that they're giving me, at least, that they know what they're doing in regards to bringing stuff back into canon, is huge. So that's my number one.
The reason I love this so much, and why I was so excited to start getting this, especially, going back to even just the Mandalorian show and now into Book of Boba Fett. Personally, I've been waiting for more lore into Mandalore since 2003, because I first learned about Death Watch in Star Wars Galaxies. And I played that game like crazy, and I wanted to know every last bit of it. And then KOTOR came out, and it got even more into Mandalorian culture. And I was like, this is really fascinating stuff. This entire culture based around being warriors, being strong, proving yourself, being worthy of all these things. And then we get the Darksaber in Rebels, and it's talking about a Jedi Mandalorian. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually happening. They're going to go into it. And then it went away again. I was like,
right.
All right. But now we have Mandalorian. Now we have Book of Boba Fett, and they're going deep. Dude, I've been waiting so long for this.
Well, and there's no rush. Like, they didn't have to explain it all in Rebels. Like, we're getting it now, and we're going to get it in Mandalorian season 3. And also, we got some of that Mandalorian history in KOTOR from what's his name? The Mandalorian that joins your crew in Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, it was
Canderous.
Yes.
Canderous. Yeah. We got that from him, about talking about the Mandalorian Wars and the awesome things that he got to do. And so we've heard it, but again, sadly, that only exists in legends for now. Like, I'm just so excited that they're bringing that stuff back, and whether if it's in the same way that we're used to, or that we've read about in the books, or that people have grown up reading about in the EU or not, I don't care. The fact that we're getting that, I'm happy. And I've said this multiple times, like, for anyone worrying about, do they know what they're doing? Are they going to ruin Star Wars? Do they even care about Star Wars? They're passionate about Star Wars, and you can tell, because the things that they're including, they would not put in these shows if they were not knowledgeable and passionate about the Star Wars universe. Like, they know their Star Wars. They love their Star Wars. So I'm not going to hold them up as the savior of Star Wars or anything, but I'm confident that they know what they're going to be putting in the shows.
Yeah, man. I think this is a good lesson in anything Star Wars, right? As far as going into live action, is to is to subvert your unrealistic expectations, right? A lot of people are already looking to the end. It all leads to
Right.
to Luke drinking the milk. It's like, all right, well, it's like, don't kill my vibe,
Right.
Look at what we're getting right now in that time, in that era. There's so much that they're doing,
Right.
So just to enjoy it, and also too, you never know what's happening, what's going on,
Right.
So
Well, it's the same as saying like, oh, when I'm 80, I'll be in a retirement home and have to walk around using a walker, so I might as well just not get off my couch. It's like, well, yeah, that's where it's probably going to end up, but I mean, you can still have fun along the way.
That's the thing. We're having a fun ride right now, man.
And I've said this before, like I am probably never going to accept the sequels as Star Wars for me in my personal headcanon, but I'll enjoy the ride along the way. And then when it gets to a point where I can't accept it anymore, then I won't be able to accept it anymore. But I'm going to have as much fun as I can until we get to that point.
That's the thing. We got to be, as fans, we got to be open to experience what there is to go through, right? And find the positives and the things that are out there. Like, I'll give you an example. Just recently, on a recommendation, I read the issues of Kylo Ren, the comics. There were 4 issues. And I absolutely loved it. And
cool.
And I came out of it like, man, I wish that was in the movie. I was like, that would have been fantastic to see. But I now have that in my headcanon. It's in my mind now. So it's added a new level to experiencing Star Wars. And it was something I really enjoyed. So now seeing all these new side stories and how we're getting deep into Mandalore and we're getting deeper into Boba Fett's story, learning about the Mandalorian with Din Djarin and everything. It's like, I don't know what to really expect, but I'm open to experiencing it all. And like you said, if there's any of it where you're just like, that wasn't right for me, okay, just don't rewatch it. It's fine. But give it that chance. Give it the chance the first time around, at least.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. And there's so much Star Wars available that you pick what you want. And if something hits you the wrong way, then ignore it. People treat this as an all or nothing thing. Is Star Wars lost forever? No, because there's probably something that you will appreciate in the future. Unless you don't let yourself, then you're not going to. Is Star Wars back? Is Star Wars going to be perfect from here on out? No, I'm sure there's going to be more stuff that you don't like. Like, people are treating this as, like it's on a scale, and we have Kathleen Kennedy and Favreau and Filoni on the other side, and it's only going to slam to one side or the other. It's like it is what it is. You can enjoy what you want, and if you don't, then I'm glad I'm me.
It's bad.
So I pulled out an action figure because I was going to come on, which is why I was a couple minutes more later as well. It's from Attack of the Clones. Let me see.
Ooh.
Doom, doom, doom. This is Ahmed Beck.
What we got here?
And I don't know if you know this figure. Okay,
so
all right. This is the
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, Coruscant Outlander Club. He was in that club that they went into to follow.
That's Ahmed Best's character in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
correct.
He's in the
So what had happened? Lucas felt so bad about Jar Jar and all that he put Ahmed in Attack of the Clones and then gave him his own action figure.
That's cool.
He's a buddy of mine, so I got it signed from my dad.
Nice, dude.
Let's go, baby. Coffee and Korriban. Boom.
That's so cool.
Great.
That's amazing.
That's like I love weirder figures like that. Like, I'm never gonna be able to buy the like $500 action figures or whatever. But getting the weirder stuff like the episode 1 Mace Windu with the blue lightsaber. Like that's something that I would want. Because that's cool.
I have that one.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Paulie, did you see my my
Okay, so-
Kenner
I love that. That looks great.
my Kenner figure that I unboxed at the beginning of the
No, let me
stream?
see.
No? Oh. So this is the back, right?
Nice.
This is the front. It is Hoth Snow.
What? Just the snow.
Just the snow. It's of course not official Kenner original, but it looks like it. This just arrived in
Oh
the
my
mail.
God.
It was like $12 and it's just so funny.
That is hilarious, man.
I'm
Love
thinking I'm gonna put it like right here.
There you go. Little piece of off.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. See, that's something a lot of people don't know about Ahmed Best. He got to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
on the was it the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel?
yeah, the
Yeah.
Jedi Temple.
Kellen Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so
Oh,
we
that's
trained
awesome.
together. So he's just
Yeah,
he's a great guy, multi-talented musician, just incredible guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Jedi character, he intentionally I think it was the last name. He named it the same as his character from Attack of the Clones, and he has like a headcanon of them being like some sort of relatives, which is
That's awesome.
It's fun for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for him to have that journey. When the time's right, I was thinking of bringing him on, but I'm gonna wait.
That's right. That's right, you do. I think he has an original X-Wing.
Father
You're gonna
time.
have to get up there.
Wow.
Father time has it all.
I know.
But
It's funny because there's still a lot of stuff that's over at his house, but I
Uh-huh.
can't get it because he's in California still.
Mm.
Father
Gotta
Time's my
move
dad, but
Oh, okay.
wow.
yeah, California.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh man.
Yeah, I have that mace. I'm just trying to figure out what box it's in. Yeah, but I have that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of
wanna see.
episode 1. I want to see which one.
Mhm.
Oh, yours, Coffee?
What
Did you say in the X-Wing?
He saw this.
Oh, the
the
X-Wing. Right.
Yeah.
right.
Oh man.
Yeah, Dad, if you find that X-Wing, let me know. Oh, and hi, Grandma.
Nice.
Wow, you can
There's a tip for you.
Oh, and you got some bots too.
The
Now
bots
you're-
are back.
Now you're for real.
oh boy.
yes.
Oh boy.
I think it's because I tweeted this out.
Oh, they were here before you showed up.
Oh, okay. Good.
Not the droid attack on the channel.
See that's one little checkbox of becoming an official YouTuber
Oh,
is
yeah.
getting the
Mhm.
bots. The other one
Mhm.
is getting monetized, of course, but we'll work on that.
You get
Um,
there.
Yeah. But to kind of wrap it up, and we can talk a little bit after I end the stream.
Mhm.
But I really am thankful for what we got in the Book of Boba Fett. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And again, those little things that we got along the way, Luke, met the lore of
Yep.
the Mandalorians, of the Tusken culture, the N1 starfighter in the pod racing circuit, Boba
Mhm.
Fett himself, as much as of a controversy as that was,
Mhm.
like we got a lot in
Mhm.
only 7 episodes,
Yeah.
and the runtime was pretty long. I don't know how many movies that would equate to. 2 movies, 2.5 movies, like
Yeah.
full length movies.
Mhm.
But I'm just very happy
Yeah.
with what we got. So if you each want to hit a closing thought, and then we'll close it out.
Mhm.
I just want to say I really feel like we're in a good place with Star Wars right now, especially with what's on the horizon. We're coming up to Kenobi. It is right
Mhm.
around the corner. And we're coming off of, I think, some really great stuff that we got in the world of Star Wars. I think everyone has good reason to feel happy and just kind of rejoice in being Star Wars fans right now, because we're in a good place. And look, I'll quote Star Wars Obsession. He kept telling it during like Boomer Council and stuff. He's like, it's coming. It's all coming. The good stuff. The good
Yeah.
times are coming. And yes, we are here. We're in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from negativity for Kenobi because I know it's
Mhm.
gonna exist.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep clear.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I've always been a big Boba Fett fan, and the fact that we were lacking content for so long, and the fact that he got his own series, I'm just really grateful for it, and the fact that they used it to um, really expand on Boba's character, um, and develop him. I fully appreciate it, and of course, seeing Tamara Morrison back in the role and like having such a fun time doing it. I'm just really happy, and just these episodes, they have set up quite a lot. What we're gonna see in Mando season 3, what we're gonna see in the Ahsoka series, and yeah, I'm with you. The future of Star Wars is bright, and I can't wait to see Kenobi, return of Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. It's gonna be awesome. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and thanks again for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah, man, what a time to be a Star Wars fan, and hope that it just keeps improving under Favreau, and that's it. Yeah, I think we'll be bringing back our same team to cover Kenobi, of course, and and just enjoy what you got. And we got a lot of good entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. I've been wanting to have you on for a while.
Nice to meet you.
But
You
and
too, T-Money.
I never found you in Discord because you're not on Discord, right?
I am on Discord. I just don't. I just never
couldn't
use
find
it.
you.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've made it this long without Twitter, so.
Oh, my boy Ethan Guzman is in the chat. Atomic Podcast, and yeah, we're looking forward to Andor. It has some real good actors.
Yeah,
in it.
I'm looking forward to Andor. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Andor. I think
totally.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping, and I'll say real quick before we wrap this up. My hope for Andor is that it is like a legit spy thriller. Like it takes itself seriously. It's nitty gritty. It's a legit spy thriller that happens to be set in the Star Wars universe with the rebellion being the focus. Like, I really hope they focus on that and less of the mystical aspects of Star Wars. Keep the Jedi out of it for this one. That's what I'm hoping for. If the opening scene of Rogue One, where he shoots the informant guy in the back, pretty much because he would have just slowed him down. Give us that, and I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
More of that.
He could be a very interesting character. I mean, okay, two things. I agree with you, and I know we got to wrap it up, but give us more of that dirty tragedy. It's what propels him to become part of the rebellion, and this is the real real on the ground, cloak and dagger rebellion people.
I have been in these fights since I was 6 years old. Like, give us that. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give us 6-year-old Andor.
Yeah, he was a part of the Separatists too. Like, that'd be really interesting perspective to show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then just let Diego be Diego, because he's an incredible actor. He eats up scenery. He's very charismatic, and when you have actors like that, we don't have like Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver. They held them back just because the writing was so bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So let Diego be unleashed.
Yes.
Yep. Let them do their thing.
Yes.
To close it out, Father Time says, I always had high expectations every week for Book of Boba Fett. If I was let down, I got right back up, looking forward to the next week with more high hopes. It was a fun series. Absolutely. And if I can encourage you guys with anything, it is keep those high hopes, because there's always good to pick out of it. And if you dwell on the negative, then you just won't have a good time. So everyone, thank you very much for stopping by tonight. I really appreciate all of you. If you've been here from the beginning of the stream, I really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you. And I will see you wherever I happen to see you in the galaxy.